in the courtroom that this is actually a historic moment in the lives of all of us. Jacksonville had been maligned about the state of Florida and how it treats its citizens, how it allows race to come into the justice system. I believe that with a jury of mostly all white jurors, 7 white men on the jury, in the South, that this is a historic moment for them to understand that we cannot continue down this path, that we have to select juries that are based on race. We have to base on human rights. We have to base juries on the hearts and souls of our citizens to look at the facts of the case, listen to the citizens, listen to the witnesses of the case, understand that no matter what color, what nationality you are, that you deserve justice for your children, justice for your families, justice for your community. And we thank Judge Healy and the jurors for giving us justice for Jordan. We love Jordan. We miss Jordan every single day. So it's a victory in a sense, but it's not the total victory. The total victory is when we meet Jordan again in heaven for me and Lucy. That's the total victory. Our lives have been devastated these past 2 years. All the people that support us, their lives have been interrupted. Their lives have been devastated. It's not a story for us. It's not a sensationalism. It's life. It's real. It's real tears we shed. Lucy shed real tears in there. I shed real tears in there. Carolina shed real tears. Our lawyer, John Phillips, shed real tears in there. And I just want you to know that the fight is not over, that Michael Dunn is going to prison for the rest of his life. Every time that he comes up and tries to have an appeal hearing, we will be there. He will see Jordan's parents and therefore see Jordan Davis in that courtroom. We thank you, the city of Jacksonville. We thank you, the state of Florida, for retrying this case and allowing us to have some peace that our son was vindicated here in Florida. Thank you.
What did you think of what Michael Dunn said in the courtroom today?
I thought it was much too little and much too late. I didn't think it was sincere. I thought it was something that his attorneys wrote out for him just to garner any kind of sympathy from the judge. I also sat in court and looked at his parents, and I wondered, how could you continue to stand by and not say, I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. Davis. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss McBath. And still, to the very last minute, to the very last second, not even come over and hug us, shake our hands, and say that we'll get through this together, or anything of that sort.
How did you prepare for the testimony you had to provide today?
You have to provide an impact statement, but as I told some of the people, that I may go off track. I tend to do that. And so I go off script, but the gist of it was I wanted the people across this nation to see and to feel our love for Jordan Davis. And I think I got that across, and that's what I wanted to get across. You know, nothing for Michael Dunn. It was all about Jordan today, that everybody needs to know what a great kid, what a great family member he was and continue to be.
Lucia, how tough was it for you saying that you choose to forgive?
Believe it or not, very early on, it was easy enough for me to forgive him because I believe that he's very, very misguided. I believe that Michael Dunn had not been raised the way we were raised, the way we were raising Jordan. Acceptance of others, loving others for who they are and not the color of their skin. I think that Jordan's life specifically exemplified that by all the different types of friends that he had, and it didn't matter the color, didn't matter the race or ethnicity. And so I think that that's where Judge Healy's words were so profound today, that we have a lot of work to do as a nation. We have a lot to do to repair a lot of what ills our country emotionally, racially, ethnically, and spiritually. And I know that that's what we were doing as a family for Jordan. We were raising him to be beyond those ills. And so we will continue to work towards doing that, because that is Jordan's legacy. We will continue to walk out everything we were trying to teach him. I feel profound sadness for Michael Dunn. And I know when people look at me, they say, how can you forgive him? How do you feel so sorry for him? Because I don't honor who resides in him. I know that the God that I serve, the God that my family serves, is far greater. And so we will continue to honor who we know always has the last verdict. We will continue to honor who we know will always direct our lives.
When you looked over at him as you said, I choose to forgive you, what did you see in his face or his eyes?
Nothing. I didn't see any remorse. I didn't see any humility. And that's why I feel so saddened for him, because he has emptiness inside of him, and that's what he will live with for the rest of his life.
We also have our foundation, which is walkwithjordan.org, and we're asking each and every one of you to visit that, and also if you can contribute anything to that, because we are going to try to help our communities in the name of our son Jordan. What we have in store does not stop. We're going to also, on his birthday, which is February 16th, which is President's Day this coming year, we're going to also have a give back to the community. We're going to have a Jordan Davis Day down at the landing on that day, and we'll get the time for you, but that's February 16th, and we ask you all to have your family and friends to come out on that day to celebrate the life of our son Jordan Davis.
And we really, really want to thank you, the press, the media, because we know oftentimes we hear stories of the media not being so gracious and so kind, and you have supported us, you've spoken the truth, you told the truth, and you've continued to support us throughout these last 2 years. And without your help, we never would have been able to speak Jordan's truth. So we thank you very, very much for that. We thank the citizens of Jacksonville have been overwhelmingly gracious to us. And I didn't know Jacksonville very well. I had only lived here a year, but I have become very fond of the citizens because you have truly shown us a lot of grace and a lot of mercy, and we're forever thankful for that.
And I also want to thank our attorney, John Phillips,
Yes.
standing right here.
They all know who I am.
And what that does for you as a family when you come and you're faced with tragedy, when you have someone like John in your corner who cries for your son, who stays up late at night and texts you about your son and the things he can do to help you and to guide you along this way. People don't realize the value of having somebody in your corner that is not out for the money, but truly in your corner. It's hard to find people like that are truly in your corner, regardless whether you could pay them or not or whatever. They're truly in your corner, and they take with you every step of the way. They're in your corner. And so I tell people out there, like that's happening in Ferguson, Mike Brown and his family, who I speak to often, Oscar Grant out in Oakland, California, also the young man down in Valdosta, Kendrick Johnson's family. You have to make sure that you lead whatever your narrative is. If your son was murdered or your son was killed, you have to take lead on it. You cannot let people speak for you. I think so many times in this country, because we lose our loved ones, that we always look for other people to speak for us. And if you're a parent, you have the greatest hurt in the world. If your son is murdered or your daughter is murdered or you can't find your nephew or you can't find your niece, you have the greatest voice in the world. You don't need people to speak for you. You come out and you speak for yourself. And if people want to get on board and speak and help you find your loved ones and help you find justice, then they get on the board your train because you lead your own train. And that's what me and Lucy did here today, and we've been doing that for the last 2 years.
And I think the last thing that we'd like to say is that justice does work, but it has to be fought for.
I'd like to thank my wife, Carolina. She's not speaking today, but Carolina, she has cried for Jordan. I want to thank her, my neighbor, Maria, Jordan's godmother, Michelle Bivens. That's Jordan's godmother. She held him in her arms ever since he was a little baby. I want to thank them, and also thank our supporters that have been through it. I want to thank Curtis McBath, who's been flying up here from Atlanta, and Tommy Storns. He tried his best to save Jordan's life.
He's our hero.
He is our hero.
He is our hero.
He's our absolute hero, you know. And Cheryl's known him since he was a baby. And we just want to let you know that we have many more supporters all across this land, and I can't begin to thank you enough and to love you. Tevin Thompson, thank you so much for being the man you are. Leland Brunson, thank you so much for being the man you are and being Jordan's best friend. Thank you very much.